Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. I hope you're all having a great week so far. Today I want to tell you about neurotransmitters. So these are chemical signals. You're probably aware some of them are called dopamine, serotonin for sleep and for mood. And neurotransmitter deficiencies happen when your gut isn't healthy and when your brain isn't healthy. So I want to tell you about the relevant neurotransmitters, especially to sleep, and how to ensure that your brain and your gut make the neurotransmitters that you need. So there are two main neurotransmitters for sleep. The first one is serotonin. So this is also called our happy and joyful neurotransmitter, and it helps us fall into a deep, restful sleep. It also is really important for mood. So, signs of serotonin deficiency are going to be depression and lack of enjoyment. But even things like PMS and inner rage and paranoia are other signs of serotonin deficiency. Now, a study found that 90% of serotonin is made in the gut. So, if your gut isn't healthy, if you have a pathogen, if you have what's called leaky gut, or if you're not digesting food well, then your gut isn't going to make the serotonin it needs to be happy and sleep well. Now, the second neurotransmitter, especially relevant for sleep, is GABA. And this is our anti anxiety neurotransmitter. If you're deficient in GABA, you might find it hard to turn off your mind, leading to racing thoughts and anxiety. And the most common GABA issues are going to be anxiety, nervousness, and insomnia. Now, the three most important ways to keep your brain healthy and make neurotransmitters are, first of all, to lower inflammation. So, your diet is the number one factor that causes inflammation in your brain. Isn't it crazy that that is how connected our guts and our brains are? But they are connected through the vagus nerve that runs from the gut to the brain and sends messages. So if there's inflammation, then that is also being transferred back and forth between the gut and the brain. And so eating processed foods with unhealthy oils, refined sugar and flour, fried foods, GMOs, and even foods you're sensitive to that you might not know about, then you aren't supporting your brain with the nutrients it needs. Now, many of my clients eat a healthy diet, right? They eat organic, they don't eat a lot of processed foods. I live in Jackson, Wyoming, which is a very fit and healthy place. And so a lot of us are already eating very well. But many people are sensitive to inflammatory foods like gluten and dairy, and they don't even realize it. And so they think they're eating healthy, but those foods are affecting their blood sugar levels, they're causing inflammation and stress in the body, and they're damaging the gut and brain. So, all of that is going to affect your body's ability to make these neurotransmitters that we need for sleep. Now, another really important thing for keeping your brain and gut healthy is to keep your blood sugar levels steady. Now, I've talked a lot about blood sugar in the past and how that can affect your sleep. If blood sugar drops too low in the night, then your body releases cortisol, which is going to wake you up. But when blood sugar is too low or too high, that affects brain health too. And our neurotransmitters also depend on the right amount of insulin and glucose. And so, if glucose levels are too low due to low blood sugar, insulin resistance, or diabetes, then again, your body can't make those neurotransmitters that it needs. Now, another thing we really need to pay attention to for neurotransmitters is and brain health is having plenty of oxygen in the brain. So, you might be surprised by how common it is for your brain to lack oxygen. And honestly, stress is the number one cause of lack of oxygen in the brain. So there are two reasons. First of all, when you're stressed, you breathe shallowly instead of deeply, right? So you're not using the full extent of your lungs and getting all that oxygen that you could. And secondly, stress is going to keep your body in that constant state of fight or flight. And when you're in that mode, then blood and oxygen are going to go to your lungs, heart, and limbs, because that's what you need to survive in that moment. But it's going to take that oxygen away from the brain. And anemia is a common cause of lack of oxygen to the brain as well. There are different kinds of anemia, but iron deficiency anemia, some causes of this might be surprising. Gluten intolerance can cause you not to absorb nutrients like iron. Parasites actually feed on iron. So taking an iron supplement, if you are anemic, could actually just be feeding these parasites even more. And an H. pylori infection causes low stomach acid. And so that can keep us from absorbing iron as well. So you can see that there's a lot going on with regards to sleep, and neurotransmitters is just one piece of the puzzle, but it is an important piece. But we also need to look at all pieces of the puzzle, everything that could be keeping you from sleeping, because like I already mentioned, the gut and the brain are connected. Blood sugar has to do with neurotransmitters. Like there's so many different things, and we need to put them all together, find out what's going on in your body because you're different than everyone else, and then work on fixing it so that you can sleep normally. So that's exactly what I help with. And feel free to message me if you want to talk more about what's going on with your sleep and how I can help you sleep better, and the steps you could take, whether you want to hire me or not, the steps